Hey everyone, welcome to Daily Revelations. This is a weekly Bible study where we use preset methods to dive into God's Word, one chapter at a time. And right now we are in the book of Daniel, and this week we're focusing on Daniel 10. And this video, or this recording if you're listening versus watching, is day 3 of our study. And so day 3, what we look at is cross-references. So I ask you again to read through the whole chapter and just pray before you do that and say, God, just reveal to me a verse to start doing the cross-references from, that there's some more truth you have to share with me from this chapter and what's in it. And as I did that today, this is my encouragement for you to do this yourself, not just to learn what I learned. But as I did that today, the verse that popped out to me was verse 7. And verse 7 says this: Now I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, while the men who were with me did not see the vision. Nevertheless, a great dread fell upon them, and they ran away and hid themselves. Now, the cross-references that this took me to was a couple different places. I expected it was going to take me to Acts and the instance where Saul was on the road to Damascus and was knocked off his feet, and a light came, and the men that were with him, they saw a light. They heard something, but they didn't understand it. They didn't even realize it was really a voice. And so there's lots of cross-references with the actual story, and then Paul retelling the story as he tells his story of how God just woke him up and showed him that he was blinded because he did not believe in the Christ. He instead was believing in his own version of what God wanted him to do, and God definitely set him straight. Now, there's another one that maybe you don't even know about, and it's in 2 Kings 6:17 through 19. And Elisha is with this group of prophets, and he is listened to by the king of Israel. And the king of Israel somehow knows what his enemy is going to do, and it makes his enemy really mad, to the point that he's going to hunt down this prophet who is telling this king that he wants to defeat things that he shouldn't know about, like his military plans that are happening, because God's revealing them to him. And what happens is this army comes down, and one of the prophets that's with Elisha says, this army, all these men, all these horses, they've come to capture you. And this is what Elisha says. He says, do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those are with him. And the prophet's thinking, what? There's nobody here except us prophets. And then he prays that God would open the eyes of this prophet and show him really what was going on. And the army of God is revealed to this man. And so Elijah prayed, and the prophet saw this, but then he prayed again, and he prayed that the people that were after him would be blinded, and even more blinded than they were. And he then led them into the middle of the encampment of their enemy, and then opened their eyes again, and pray God to open their eyes. Not that they could be harmed. He actually entreated the king at that point of Israel to feed them and to send them on their way, and to show them that they really didn't want to continue this war. But it was faith, it was belief that caused those to see. And sometimes it was the belief of someone else who prayed for that other person that allowed them to see. But it all originates in all of these stories that with Daniel and with Saul and with Elisha, is that there was an undercropping desire to see more, to believe beyond what they could see. And that if they believed, they would see. And God rewarded them for that. And it should encourage all of us to say, God, I'm discouraged. I don't see the armies. I don't see the things that you see. would you, in my trusting you and my belief, show me that you are working in this, and that there's something more than I can physically see, but open my eyes to that. And I want to also share this verse with you. In 2 Corinthians 4:4 it says, "And the God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelieving." So when we don't believe, we are blinded, and everyone around us who doesn't believe is blinded as well. And so there's these two opposites: believe and see, or be blinded in your unbelief. And I wrote to myself, live with your blinders off. It's a constant work to keep believing, but when we are consistent in turning and saying to God, help me in my unbelief, that He will, in His grace and His mercy, say, yep, I will help you in that, and I will show you that even in just the tiny little seed of faith and belief, that you can move mountains, and that I'm willing to move those mountains. So be encouraged. Thanks for joining me on Daily Revelations today. I hope that you get a lot out of your study as well, and I will see you again right here tomorrow on Daily Revelations. Bye, everyone.